Sugar, chiller cabinets full of plastic trays, fish pie, roast lamb, mashed potato, trays sealed with more plastic. The lot wrapped around with a cardboard sleeve with a photograph of the contents and the instructions for cooking printed on it. What is their history? And this leads to a related reason for being interested in food packaging. Sociologists commonly overlook the things that are caught up in social relationships. Think about the image of an old-fashioned grocer. You can remember it. A man with a sort of brownish coat, faintly obsequious. He understood his clientele, he knew his stock, and he could make recommendations. And as the stock grew larger and the choice grew greater, so they needed his help even more. Fast forward to nowadays, the grocer's pretty much disappeared, and with it, that relationship. And it's been replaced by the package which tells you what's in the package, it tells you how to cook the package, it tells you how nutritious it is, and that thing has supplanted the relationship between the grocer and the customer.
Let's just talk a little bit about the ubiquity of all this, because you do say that packaging is everywhere and nowhere. I mean, what do you mean by that exactly?
It's litter, it's on an office desk, we've got paper cups of water to keep us going while we talk, it's in school lunchboxes. But it's sort of nowhere in that despite being ubiquitous, it is, as Thomas Hine, who was an American historian of design, rather neatly observed, he said, packaging is hidden in plain sight. So it can become part of the familiar surroundings, aisle upon aisle in a supermarket or filling shelves in the kitchen cupboards, but it's invisible in its familiarity.
The entire contemporary food system does seem to be held together by packaging, you want to argue.
What's commonly known as the global food system would look really very different without food packaging. Food packaging makes it possible to transport green beans grown in Kenya, typically packed in sort of perforated plastic bags. They're made of polyethylene, packed on the spot into those bags, then transported in the bays that are underneath passenger cabins on passenger jets to warehouses and supermarkets, whether they be in Helsinki, Glasgow or Berlin. That packaging also allows cans of pumpkin puree, which are very likely packed in what's known as secondary packaging of cardboard boxes. So you've got a cardboard box of cans of pumpkin puree, which in turn are transported in another level of packaging, which would be in shipping containers from manufacturers in the US to supermarkets in Europe for Americans far from home to make pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. And without the packaging, the foodstuffs couldn't move like that.
You look at major items of food packaging, you look at the materials from which they've been made, you talk about bags and sacks and barrels and chests and bottles and jars and canisters and cans.